killed. So we'll get into that. But introduce yourself to my followers, which will probably be your followers pretty
I
soon.
mean, my followers are your followers. Same thing here.
Yeah.
My name is Ben White. Professional bodybuilder slash powerlifter. I gave it up about 10 years ago. I decided that I wanted to breed mastiffs, and I wanted the biggest and healthiest mastiffs. And I've seen how a lot of other people were doing it. I originally started this in the 1,200 square foot house, and then a 800 square foot apartment. Now I'm in a 3,000 square foot house and a 1,000 square foot something in their room, and over 100 and some acres of land. So you got to go through the storm before you can get to where you're going.
Yeah. Now, Ben, you're located in northern or southern New York?
It's in the middle. Amsterdam, New York, is between Utica and Albany.
Now, the other question is, are there any black people up there?
I mean, we got, oh, no. In my area, I'm the token one. I'm the dog, I'm the dog whisperer. I'm in the country. But if you go across the bridge, I mean, there's diverse colors of black, but I mean, or brown or whatever people want to call it. But I just look at people like really as human beings or me being a person of themselves. I don't really look at people as color, but people go by color. I just look at people as me being where they're weak at, I'm strong, and where I'm weak at, they're strong, and they can just vibrate off of that. But most people can't be honest enough with me, so I stay by myself and trust my dog.
I noticed that how your home is set up. It's ideal for a guy like me because I grew up in the country. I grew up born and raised in Mississippi, so I'm used to having where you need to ride a lot more because you have so much yard to cut, right? And people go to Piggly Wiggly and flour, go grocery shopping, right? And if you're good, you may find a Kroger's. And I'm used to people are speaking to you, saying hello, as if they've known you for years and they've only met you for the first time. So it's definitely a culture shock when I moved to Los Angeles, where people don't speak to each other. You don't know who your neighbors are. I mean, when I grew up, my neighbor had a key to my house in case something happens. And it's not like in LA. But I would like to get into. We start here. What made you? Now, was the Mastiff the first breed you got into, or that was the only breed?
No, I mean, growing up, I had dogs and everything else. And then my father, he had actually a Doberman named Sergeant, because he was in the military named Sergeant. And it would go out the house, jump a 6-foot fence, disappear, and then come back. And he was like obedient and everything else, just like yours is. My dad was 100% strict. And I just I wanted the biggest, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted the biggest Mastiff, which I knew was the English Mastiff. And the most aggressive Mastiff and hard to train Mastiff is a Brazilian Fila. Most people don't know about that. So when I got the Fila, and I had her for 3 years, and I seen how she was, and I took off with the dog food and transitioned over, I said, okay, I want to breed with the English Mastiff, and I only want to breed with somebody that got a dog that they're feeding raw. And I happened to find this guy, and he did it, and he let me, and I did 2 generations. I waited 3 years before I did it to see the temperament of the dogs and everything else. Gave him away for free, $100, $1,000, whatever, to see how the people were and everything else. And then I did another litter 3 years later, and that's where I got Thanos and Gomorrah from. And then I waited again, and that's when I started producing the puppies and everything else.
Now, I've watched a lot of your TikToks, and it's entertaining, but it's also educational. And I noticed you make sure that you let people know that you have your dogs, your grown dogs, grow up to almost 250 pounds. Is that correct?
That's correct. What people don't really understand, and this is what they're never going to understand, their dogs stay in the house and their dogs stay in cages. My dogs actually be like the foxes and wolves and stuff outside. During the summertime and the spring months, they lose weight. They shed their hair and everything else. In the wintertime, they store it up and they get bigger. They fluctuate between 50 to 100 pounds in the wintertime. In the wintertime is when deer season is, and I feed them deer every single day. For the whole deer season and everything else, for the whole month, I feed them deer. So for 5 or 6 months, they're eating deer every single day. They get up there, and then all of a sudden they'll drop the weight down. And with the chicken and everything, a chicken and goat or whatever, but when deer season or hunting season come back up, they get bigger because it's a a lot of extra scraps and everything else for them to eat.
See, we don't have that luxury right here. You know, the houses right here, they're like, man, you've been looking at your neighbors every day. Every
No, but
day,
that's what
it's like,
right. But what I sit there and tell people, even though your dogs are real well trained, and mine are too. Mine protect me different from the way you guys' dogs protect you. My dogs go off gut instinct, and people are like, what do you mean? When people come here, and the reason I turned 9 people away, and I could have had all the dogs gone, but I turned 9 people away. When they came here, the dogs started barking. Fiona and Grimoire kept barking. Copper, Sim, and Thanos, they really weren't paying no attention to everything else. And I go by my females because my females run my pack. And once they kept barking, I'm like, what is it about them that I'm not seeing or picking up and everything else? And I like, thank you for coming and everything else. You can take pictures with the dogs, but I can't sell your puppy. And they ask me why, and I'm like, look at my dog. She's still barking. Everybody else, the other 5 people that got the dogs from me, no problem. They went out, they looked at the puppies, they played around with the puppy came up to them, they said, that's the puppy I want.
you just felt something was off. You know, that's what it was.
Not me, the dog,
Those dogs,
I go
those
by the
dogs
dog.
did. The dogs did first, but then, like, you know, you get connected to the dogs and stuff, and it's like,
Right,
you
so
got
I just went up. Yeah, I just went up for their energy and everything else because of energy and vibration. And I'm like, if they didn't bark at the other 5 people that picked the puppies up, what's about them? And then I talked to the woman a little bit more, and she was like, I'm really scared and nervous around the dogs and everything else. I said, what, my dogs? And I was like, if you're nervous around my dog, what are you going to do when this dog get over 200 pounds?
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
So people understand who are following us. When you get calls or emails or messages, DM messages in your TikTok or Instagram or even possibly Facebook, they have to come out to you. You don't ship out dogs at all, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so when they come out to you, if the puppy or the puppy's mother don't respond the way that you find is mutual, no matter how much they throw at you, you're gonna say no. Did you get me?
It's not about the money, it's about placing them in good. All of my puppies
Right.
are living besides one. And it was a police officer and a doctor that actually put the puppy down because of negligence on their part. And I told them, and that's why I pick and choose, because I'm not trying to just sell dogs. I'm trying to show people that 10 years, no vet bills.
Yeah.
It only costs $60 a month to feed one dog. You feed your dog cups, 4 cups equal 1 pound. I just fed my dog 160 pounds of raw meat. When do you think they're supposed to eat next? Tomorrow? They just ate 160 pounds of meat. When do they supposed to eat next?
Yeah.
In a couple of days. I mean, because about how long that food can digest in their system.
Takes a
Then they go
while.
outside and use the bathroom. It rains, it dries it up, it turns white, and then it goes back into the soil. Just like the coyote crap we see out there, the wolf, the fox, the deer, it all goes back into the ground because it's what it's supposed to be, raw.
Yeah, it calcifies. That's why when I feed my boys raw
I used to bodybuild. I used to take a whole lot of stuff, eat all this craziness, and right. But that's what I tell people. They're like, "Well, I'm gonna take the bone out." Well, you may as well just throw it away because of calcium. Look at
That's
Bully
right.
Max. It's like God knows how much that costs, and it's all garbage. It's all garbage. That farmer's
Yeah.
choice or that farmer's stuff, whatever, all natural. It's garbage. It's all garbage. And people sit there, I'm buying it, and you see how expensive that is. And they call me crazy. And then the people that actually buy it for their dogs who think they're doing good, look at them.
Yeah, those are the ones there, like, we don't even look at.
I mean,
You're right.
I'm asking myself why you got a dog. I mean, this is serious. I mean, people just let stuff slide and everything else. You can do whatever you want with your dog. When I was born in the 76, I do not know when I'm gonna die, but I got an asterisk in between it. And it's gonna say, he did for himself, he learned, and he passed on his knowledge to them that wanted to learn. Other than that, I don't care. I really don't care how people think.